Good morning, everyone. Welcome into the stream. I saw Sasha and Mika in there. Welcome in, welcome in. Good morning. All right, let's before I blab too much, let's try to get a GSX starting on the boarding process. Welcome to Haiti. We're at Port-au-Prince, Haiti. We're at Toussaint Louverture International Airport. We're gonna be flying on here flight 200 of the world tour, or episode 200, whichever one, because technically we've done one more flight than episodes because we had a diversion. But we're gonna be flying over to Pointe-à-Pitre, la Raizet Airport in Pointe-à-Pitre on the island of Grande-Terre in Guadeloupe, which is a part of France, or I believe is an oversized territory of France. I had to swap out the flag, so on the thumbnail the flag is not the real flag. There really isn't a flag, but this is kind of like the local one they use. I'm doing alright. It looks like the network is now stable with my VPN running. We'll see how it goes. Nope. And as soon as I speak, it drops. Man, I don't know what the issue is. Really no idea why the network keeps dropping like that. I don't know what it is. All right, we're just gonna have to power through like we have been. Kind of a bummer, but I want to fly. I'm gonna fly, and if the stream sucks in terms of buffering and all that crap, well, that's just how it goes. Whoa. I should have just not done that, because now the stupid jetway is going to be in the plane, making it hard to do things. Not too bad. Yeah, it's going to be a pain. Oh my god. Why are these jetways in the wrong places? Hey, aviation accident. Rafa Nabil, welcome in. Alright, we're gonna... let's restart this. We'll get... Uh-oh. Well, now the jetway's not gonna go away, though. Stupid airports. Actually, you know what I should do? I should park right here and do it. Let's do that. We can actually do that. That's not a problem. Just move over. Oops, I didn't want to get rid of Air Caribbean. Oops. Okay. We'll go at this gate, and we'll use the steps to get on. I wish I knew which gate this was, but... you hit Y. Hit Y to move the plane. And that, basically it's the slew mode or whatever that's called. Alright, so we're waiting for GSX to restart. I'm gonna get FS HUD restarting as well because I'm switching parking spots. So now I'm in parking 17, okay. Well, we're in parking 17, we're gonna, hopefully we can load up with the stairs instead. We got a JetBlue, a few Americans, and unfortunately that Air Caribbean, which we flew the CRJ last time, has disappeared, but that's because we kind of bumped into it. There it is. Now it's kind of come back. I don't know what is that plane? I really like the Air Caribbean. 350, an A350, cool. All right, well, we're in the A320. We're from in the A320 with Air France. We're using the SkyTeam livery today, using Flybywire's A32NX. Yeah, well, it's because the jetways at this airport are not set up correctly for the parking spots. So you can see they're all extended the wrong way, and so when they try to come out, they try to come in for some reason on the right-hand door, which is not the right door. All right, let's see if GSX is going now. Request boarding?
Boarding requested.
All right. Like we're good there. Let's get inside. Let's get things set up quickly. I want to just I always like to just get all my payload on right away. That way the GSX loading looks pretty cool. We get to see all the passengers come on. So we want to instant get all the passengers on. So they're on the plane, weight-wise, but then we'll get to see the visuals and everything. Fuel. Fuel we can do real time. We'll just get that fueled up. All right, Sasha. Yeah, good luck at school. Alright, so let's look through here. We got parking brake is set. Flaps and speed brake are retracted. No, we don't need to. We'll say we're already on.
Bus is coming.
Engine masters and the ignition. Ignition is normal. Engine masters are in the off position. Uh-oh. Oh, no. Why is my throttle not working? Oh, I hate you so much. Oh. Just had to replug it in for some reason.
Passengers boarding starting.
Hey, here come the passengers. Let's get Pack X going as well. Get some nice music in the background. Well, it's the middle of the week, so not as many people available to come on. And I didn't announce that the stream was coming until probably 15 minutes ago. Because it's kind of, I can't do it. I can't schedule streams from my phone, which is really annoying. And so let's get the battery on. Let's start moving here. Passengers are coming on, so crew supply, strobe auto, nav logo light, wing lights. Start getting all this lined up.
Passengers bus is coming.
And I wouldn't be surprised if our viewership just we're just gonna have a hard time with viewers anyway, because we keep having dropped frames for the network, which has been going on the last week, and I don't know what changed, because we were having no problem a couple weeks ago, and then this week it's just been a mess. So getting all my lighting turned up, get their flight clearance.
Parking 17,
Passengers
request clearance to
boarding
the Raizet with information, Tango. AIRFRANS 619, cleared to the Raizet A, fly at boat 1 Sierra, departure, runway 10, initial climb 3000, then is filed, squawk 6551. Cleared to the Raizet, fly at boat 1 Sierra, departure, runway 10, initial climb 3000, then is filed, squawk 6551, AIRFRANS 619. AIRFRANS 619, readback correct. Report when ready. Will report when ready. AIRFRANS 619.
Let's pull this in from SimBrief for our flight computer. That's 619 is our flight number. I don't think it really matters. Cost index is 6. Can actually double check that over here at the flight plan. We got that cost index of 6. Cruise is going to be flight level 370, 37,000 feet. Our alternate is Tango Foxtrot, Foxtrot, Foxtrot. We're flying to Tango Foxtrot, Foxtrot, Romeo. I believe that Foxtrot might be Martinique. Not sure. Next page. Alright, we can already put all this in because our weights are all technically on board. So we'll just get this in, and then we can do our fuel calculations and everything. Flight plan. We're doing ETBOD Uniform Lima 577 to Charlie Delta Oscar, and then we're taking Uniform Tango 15 to Mela. There's Mela. Gesso, direct to Gesso, Modux, then Romeo 888 to Goret, and then we have a discontinuity because there's our runway. We'll go to the... How do I do the... Oh. I have to remember which plane I'm in and how we do things, but we'll click on the airport, departure, and we have our runway 10. We're going ETBOD 1 Sierra. And we don't have any transitions, so we insert that. And now the flight plan should add in a few more things for the ETBOD. Discontinuity right there, just figure that out. And flight plan is ready for at least the first part of the flight.
All your items are put away so that the aisle is clear and other passengers can make their way to their seats.
Radio navigation, we don't. Well, we'll set that up later. Performance page. Okay, so we'll go back to init page 2, and pull up the flight or our calculator for the A320. Alright, so we're taking off Mike Tango Papa. Get the airport information. It'll give us our runway, length, all that stuff. There it is. So 3,040 meters, slope uphill of 0.43%. Get the METAR data. Winds 100 at 7 knots, 23 degrees outside. We have a QNH in inches of 30.09. Runway condition is dry, anti-ice. We're going to keep that off because we don't need it. Takeoff weight is 65.0 tons. Center of gravity is typically forward. Takeoff thrust is flex. Climb thrust. And we'll keep the air conditioning on. Since it's a little warm, we'll get that going pretty soon. So there's all of our information we need. The V1, V rotate, and the V2 are all 144. That keeps it easy. Transition is 17,000. Not sure about that, but we'll go with it. Flaps 1, and the flex takeoff temperature 68 degrees Celsius. And our thrust reduction is 1079. Go. Takes a little bit moment for it to register in there. There it is. All right, next phase. Okay, we don't really need to change anything in here. Progress, performance. Okay, everything is good. See, we have a trip giving us enough fuel for an hour 43 for our trip. We also have all of our reserves. That's all on there. We can actually put the trip wind in. Go back to the flight plan and find that trip wind right here is the average WC. And it's a plus 20, so we just put in 0 to 0. That should give us a tailwind of 20 degrees. It's going to change our fuel and everything a little bit. Actually, for some reason our fuel time has gone down with that tailwind. Don't ask me why, it's just what it did. Alright, flight plan. We'll go back to the screen right here with the stats and everything. And we should. I'm not getting great frame rates in here. I have too much stuff running, probably. Alright, seems like all the passengers are on board. Doors are closed. We should get the APU going. Emergency lights armed. No smoking. Seatbelt signs. Passengers are ready to go. That's good.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome aboard Flight 690. Our flight time will be roughly 1 hour and 36 minutes.
How are you guys today?
Cabin doors now closed. We ask
Glad
that
you
make
could stop
sure
in
that
at
all
least.
devices are in airplane mode and your larger devices are now shut down and stowed. If you have not
There's the
already,
APU going.
please fasten your seatbelt and verify it is low and
I did
tight
not
across your
sleep
lap.
well. I'm surprised I'm even awake to be able to do the stream and got going on time. It took a little time on the starting screen to just make sure everything was going and kind of look at the network freaking out. But not much we can do about it. We go up here. And we'll turn on the beacon light because we are ready to go now. External power off. APU is on. We have the IRS. Flight directors are on. We have ARC and 10. We got our initial climb. Q and H, we'll put that in, is actually... What do we have for that? 30.09.
Prince Tower, AIRFRANS 619, request pushback and start up. AIRFRANS 619, pushback and start up approved. Pushback and start up approved, AIRFRANS 619.
Yeah, this is getting really ridiculous with the network. Alright, so going in the quick edit pushback mode so that we can get the right pushback. Double check the chart over here. Going runway 10, so we actually just need to go right up there. What we're gonna do is trying to figure out where the best place to push back is. Probably go over this way, actually. We'll go over here. And that should work. Don't want to get into the American Airlines. I think that's good right there.
Exiting from editing mode. Please wait.
Hey, Captain Edward! Haitian flag. Yep, we're here in Haiti. We're fighting the network. My internet just is garbage for some reason. And I am pretty sorry about that. But not much more I can do. Alright, so we're going to release the parking brakes. We need to... Yes, no, maybe. Did it freeze up again? Ah, GSX is such a pain in the butt. What are we doing, GSX? Push me back. Between the network and GSX, and there goes GSX, it just crapped out. Alright, well. What I need to do is I need to put pushback helper back in or something. That way if I can just push back if GSX doesn't want to work. Ugh. Such a pain in the butt. It's got such promise, but it breaks so often that it's almost... It's pathetic. It's crazy how many programs in that are available for Flight Simulator are kind of garbage. You pay for them and they kind of work and then they die. All right, we're gonna start up the engines. And while we're doing that, we'll get the safety brief.
Madame, monsieur, bonjour et bienvenue à bord.
Welcome aboard, ladies and gentlemen.
Ce film concerne votre sécurité. Merci de nous accorder votre attention.
For your safety and comfort, please take a moment to watch the following safety video.
Chaque fois que ce signal est allumé, nous vous prions d'attacher votre ceinture.
Whenever the seatbelt sign is on, please make
try
sure your
turn the
seatbelt
pumps
is
on, right?
securely fastened.
That'll help.
Nous vous recommandons de la maintenir attachée de façon visible lorsque vous êtes assis à votre siège.
We recommend that you keep your seatbelt fastened and visible at all times.
And we'll just spin out of this spot. We won't get the pushback because
Attachez votre ceinture
GSX
sur
decided to
la
crash.
partie supérieure de la boucle.
To release the seatbelt, just lift the buckle.
Pendant le roulage, le décollage et l'atterrissage, veuillez redresser votre siège, ranger le porte-gobelet, la tablette et le repose-jambes. Pensez également à ouvrir le cache de votre hublot et profitez de la vue.
During taxi, takeoff and landing,
Hey, Sasha.
please hold the
What are you
wheel
doing at
table
school right
and
now?
cup holder. Put your seat in the upright position and retract your leg rest. Please also raise your window blind and enjoy the view.
Alright, let's
Pour
start
votre sécurité,
engine
tous les
1.
bagages, objets volumineux et appareils électroniques les plus lourds doivent être rangés dans les compartiments. Les accessoires seront placés sous le siège devant vous, à l'exception des places aux issues, bien entendu.
For your safety, please stow all baggage, bulky items, and larger electronic devices in the overhead compartments. Accessories can be stored under the seat in front of you, except for the seats at emergency exits, of course.
Les issues de secours sont situées de chaque côté de la cabine, à l'avant, au centre, à l'arrière.
Emergency exits are located on each side of the cabin, at the front, in the center, and at the back.
En cas d'évacuation, laissez vos bagages à leur place, suivez les signaux et les marquages lumineux au sol jusqu'à l'issue la plus proche. Les membres de l'équipage portant un insigne rouge sont chargés de votre sécurité.
In case of evacuation, please leave all your belongings behind. Let the signs and floor lighting guide you to the nearest exit. Crew members
Probably set our
wearing a
parking
red
brake.
badge are
We're not actually
responsible
getting
for your
pushed back.
safety.
Oh, I thought we were in idle.
L'emplacement de votre gilet de sauvetage est indiqué sur une étiquette devant vous.
The location of your life jacket is clearly marked by a sign in
Alright,
front of
we
you.
have
Passez la tête
engines,
vers
so we will turn off the
Attachez
APU.
et serrez les sangles.
Place it over your head and pull the straps tightly around your waist.
Turn off
Une
or
fois
turn
à
on the
l'extérieur de
taxi
l'avion,
lights.
gonflez votre gilet en tirant sur la poignée rouge.
Get our
Inflate
flaps
your life
in,
jacket
take off
by pulling
position.
down on the red handle.
Ignition normal.
Release only when you are outside the
Arm
aircraft.
the spoilers.
En cas de
Auto
dépressurisation, un masque à oxygène
And we have
sera
our predicted wind shear
automatiquement
on.
If there is a sudden decrease in cabin pressure, your
Okay,
oxygen mask will
Prince
automatically
Airfrans
drop down in
619,
front of you.
request taxi.
Prenez votre
Airfrans
masque,
619, taxi to holding
placez-le
point,
sur votre
runway
visage.
10.
Take your mask
Taxi to holding point, runway
And
10,
place it over your nose
Airfrans
and mouth.
619.
Une fois votre masque ajusté, il vous sera possible d'aider d'autres personnes.
Make sure your own mask is well adjusted before helping other passengers.
Ce Ce vol est non fumeur
This is a non-smoking flight.
et l'usage de la cigarette électronique n'est pas autorisé, y compris dans les toilettes.
It is forbidden to smoke electronic cigarettes, even in the toilets.
Les cigarettes électroniques doivent être conservées sur vous et leur recharge électrique est interdite.
Electronic cigarettes should be carried with you, and charging them on board is not permitted.
Vos appareils électroniques doivent être réglés en mode avion pendant toute la durée du vol, mais vous pouvez utiliser Wi-Fi et Bluetooth.
All electronic devices must be set to airplane mode for the duration of the flight, but you can continue to use Wi-Fi and Bluetooth.
Les prises de courant ne doivent pas être utilisées durant le roulage, le décollage, l'approche et l'atterrissage, ou sur demande de l'équipage.
Ah, you just missed GSX Pro crashing out and the network dropping again and again and again because my internet is terrible.
En cas de fumée, de dégagement de chaleur, de chute ou de perte d'un appareil électronique, nous vous demandons de prévenir l'équipage et de ne pas manipuler votre siège.
Should you notice smoke or heat, or if you drop or lose your electronic device, we kindly ask you to call a crew member and not to move your seat.
Gardez toujours un œil sur vos appareils électroniques pendant leur chargement.
Always keep an eye on electronic devices while they are charging.
Nous allons bientôt décoller. La tablette, le porte-gobelet et le repose-jambes doivent être rangés et votre dossier redressé.
In preparation for takeoff, please make sure your tray table and cup holder are stored and secure, your leg rest retracted, and that your seat is in the upright position.
Light ourselves up since we're on the runway.
La notice de sécurité placée devant vous.
We invite everyone to read the safety information leaflet located in the seat back pocket.
It's crazy how I don't seem to really have much more performance boost with this new graphics card in reality.
Un excellent vol.
On behalf of everyone at AIRFRANS,
Again, so much of what I actually need is the CPU. You could probably play. I think, like in reality, you could do this sim with a 1070, you know, pretty light graphics card, and you know, as long as you have a beefy CPU, you'll be good. It's all about the CPU. Getting into position for our takeoff. Turn the pillar the right way. Alright, we're ready for departure.
Pointe-à-Pitre Prince Tower, AIRFRANS 619, runway 10, ready for departure. AIRFRANS 619, wind 100 degrees at 7 knots, runway 10, cleared for takeoff. Runway 10, cleared for takeoff, AIRFRANS 619.
B1, rotate. Positive rate, gear up. Autopilot engaged. Thrust lever to climb. Trying to get there at least. I don't know why I have so much room between these indents. This is where I really want to have the control. Redo that.
AirFrance 619er. Contact Pointe-à-Pitre. Approach 119.8. Contact Pointe-à-Pitre. Approach 119.8. AirFrance 619er. Pointe-à-Pitre. Approach AirFrance 619er. Echo 1 Sierra. Departure at 2,400. Climbing 3,000. AirFrance 619er. Radar contact. Continue climb 12,200. Altimeter 3011. Continue climb 12,200. AirFrance 619er.
Haven't had a hiccup like that in a while. Yeah, so I'm finding that my performance is, I don't have really any issues once I'm in the air, performance-wise, at least staying at 30 frames per second. I'm locked at 30 frames per second because I have my VSync rate at 50% of my monitor refresh, so it's going to be 30 frames per second. Shouldn't have too many hiccups that way, but once we get to airports, it's like some airports, I guess it just depends how much going on at the airport. I was doing some tests in the US, or I just going to lots of big airports all over the world, and I went to Barajas in Madrid, and no problem, 30 frames per second when I would load in. Nothing else going on, but I would load in and I'd have 30 frames per second. But then I'd go to Dallas in the US, and I was barely able to get 20 with nothing else going on. No other planes, no movement, nothing going on. Went to Denver, 30 frames per second, no problem, nice and smooth there. Salt Lake City, nice and smooth. Phoenix, I think, was okay. LAX, disaster. Chicago, disaster. It's very weird. Like, some airports are very frame rate friendly, and it's not even, it doesn't make sense, like, even with the scenery as much, because, you know, I feel like Denver and Salt Lake City have just as much scenery as Dallas or LAX or Chicago and Barajas. I mean, I went to different handcrafted airports, and not all of them operate equally. So, and again, I don't know if I'm just paying attention more, and I'm looking at every time the frame rate goes up or down 1 frame or 2 frames more than I was with the old graphics card. Like right there, I'm getting these like hiccups now, which we didn't have last flight. Turn off that. How do I turn off Xbox Game Bar? Because that thing keeps turning on, or keeps popping up things now with Windows 11. Alright, we're leaving Haiti, Port-au-Prince. Yeah, it's frustrating too, because if I do anything on the other screen, I lose frames as well. And it's just because my CPU can't keep up with my graphics card anymore. It's very weird. Game bar. How do I close that, Mika?
AirFrance
Eggs on or off?
Climb and maintain 14,000.
Yeah, I'm sure there's a lot of settings I have wrong. Things, yeah, that I probably optimized and got everything working good before I reinstalled Windows recently. But that, you know, last year, a couple years ago, when over the couple years where been dealing with Flight Simulator. Oh, there it is, game bar. If that does anything.
AirFrance 619er, climb and maintain. Flight level 230, contact Santo Domingo Center 126.9er.
This is a pretty cool little stretch here.
Flight level 230.
We're actually flying in. Well, now we're flying into Dominican Republic. We're flying over these couple lakes here. So right below us is Itang Saumache, and then in front of us is Lake Enriquillo. We're right in the kind of the just south of the center of the island.
Continue climb, flight level 230, Air France 619.
Turn off the landing lights. Hardware accelerated GPU scheduling. Where would that be?
The flight crew has turned off the fasten seatbelt sign. You can now get up and move around the cabin. However, we ask that you keep your seatbelt fastened when you see the conditions of unexpected turbulence.
Yeah, that's the weird thing. Is like game mode is all right. Yeah, it's weird because some people will say, "Oh, you should have game mode on." Other people will say you should have game mode off. I don't know if that would help. Let's see. I turned it off. I don't know if that's going to really change anything right now. I'm trying to find the hardware acceleration. That one. Close that window? Must have. I did a search for it and it told me to go such and such place, but I couldn't. I don't think I found it.
Air France 619, climb and maintain, flight level 320. Climb and maintain, flight level 320, Air France 619.
Alright, 320. Yeah, and I feel like I'm getting my performance is not as good today. I mean, I'm at 30 frames per second, and but it's kind of dipping every once in a while. It should kind of almost be locked. Display graphics, yeah, I'm looking and I'm not seeing anything. I feel like I've seen it before, but it's always interesting when I go under settings. And the problem is that you have Windows 10, Windows 11, you look at search for things and they'll say, oh, well, this is where it is. It's like, no, it's not where it is. And then you search for it specifically for Windows 11 and someone's got like, I don't know, and it seems like all different, every version of Windows, and even the same version of Windows. Everything's different on everyone's computers. It's weird. Because whenever I look for settings, they'll be like, oh, this setting will be right here. And I go there, and that setting doesn't exist on my computer for some reason, despite the fact I have Windows 11. And I've done nothing to radically change the settings, how Windows would show me settings, I would guess. Pretty cool flight so far. Again, I wish there was a little bit more weather, a little bit of clouds, but we'll leave it live weather for now, and maybe it's just clear. I was kind of expecting to just be flying over the Caribbean, but we're gonna be flying over the island here, San Domingo, I think is the island. What is the island called? Hispaniola, that's what it is. I know it looks nice, it's just there's points where the performance doesn't do as well. And so I'm always a little jealous. I see people posting screenshots, I'm like, oh man, their game looks so good. It's like, well, I suppose if you're just, obviously you're just taking a screenshot, I can do that too, where I could just fly these flights and not be burning my computer trying to stream. And I'm hoping, if we can get any network here, but I'm hoping that I've got my computer over here, and my other computer, my old computer, and I've got the fan and the CPU and the memory back in it. It looks so cool. I love the look of that one, but it's kind of not the look anymore that computers are going for. That red and black look that was hot in 2016. Now all your motherboards are kind of just black and white because you're gonna put all your RGB stuff all over it anyway. On this network.
AIRFRANS 619, climate maintained. Flight level, climate maintained. Flight level 370, AIRFRANS 619.
Yeah, maybe. It's ridiculous. But that's the... But then I have to pay... Then I'm just using data like crazy. I'm almost like, should I just be routing over my phone at this point? This is terrible. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, you guys. Y'all, if you have a... I don't know what there is. Basically, I live in a trash country, okay? I used to... As I get older, I start to realize how, and after living in China, it's like, this is worse internet than I had in China. In China, I had decent internet in China. Now, the issue was going over through the firewall and going across the ocean, you'd have slow down speed. So I couldn't really stream over there, but now it's like I'm basically living in China. I mean, like I said, it's like I might as well move back to China, make videos, have time to do that, versus this garbage. This is absolute trash. Absolute trash. Absolutely ridiculous. This is absolutely ridiculous. I don't even... Well, yeah, I live in the third world, you know. It's so sad how, we just live in America. I mean, we just bury our heads in the sand in America. It's getting frustrating because it's like you look at places in the rest of the world, and there's always an excuse here in America. Oh, well, we can't do that because it costs a lot of money. It's like you're charging me. I mean, I get charged $116 a month for internet and cable. Most of that is my internet. And that's because I have 1 gig internet download, which my download speeds typically work. Now, I don't know if it's, we're getting some weird spots banding right here, but that happens even, I don't know. I don't know if that's our internet. But this week, I can't upload crap. I can't upload stuff. And that's just ridiculous. It's absolutely, we live in 2023. Everyone's on the internet. We're doing Zoom calls. We're doing online seminars. People are making shorts and making YouTube channels and TikToks and all this stuff. And we can't have decent internet. And it's like it's not like I live in the middle of nowhere either. It'd be one thing if I lived where I grew up. I grew up in northern Wisconsin in the middle of the woods, small rural town. Now granted, when I was, I don't know what they have for internet now, but we only had dial-up. But granted, when I was growing up, that's all anyone had. And, I think our school was obviously the first to get like the satellite N1 or whatever those, the crazy higher speeds. What are we flying over right now? It's really nice down there. The view of that, you guys can't really see it behind my head. What city is that? Wow. I feel like I'm flying over Miami or something. We are flying over... Yeah, that's Santo Domingo right there. And we actually just flew over the airport. Where we have landed. We have actually flown into that airport. Yeah, well, I mean, big by American standards. I mean, it's a metropolitan area. It's the biggest city in our state. It's not like, but guess how many internet options I have? Guess how many internet options I have? I have one internet option where I live. It's a monopoly. I have one option, and it's garbage. Now, my parents, who live in the suburb, live in the suburb just the next town over, in the metropolitan area, they have two options. They have Spectrum and AT&T, and they have AT&T, and they got the fiber and all that good stuff. I got old, outdated cable at this point. It's so sad. It's just like, really? Yeah. Well, there's another excuse that people like to make about America. It's like, oh, America's huge, so we can't have. It's harder for us to have all, the kind of infrastructure they have in Europe. It's like, Europe. All of Europe is about the same size as the United States. Now, yeah, it's actually more surprising is the fact that Europe is able to have as much decent infrastructure compared to the United States, because you have all your different countries and somehow able to get that stuff done. That's a big thing that always comes with trains and buses and subways, metro systems, and making cities bikeable and all that stuff here in America. It's like, oh, well, America's too big. We can't do that. We need to have cars so we can get from point to point. It's like, we're talking about cities. And American cities are more spread out than European cities, and that's again because we build our cities based on the car. But yes, it is necessary to have a car in an American city because you've built the city to necessitate having a car. You need to have a car because of the way you built the city, because you want everyone to have a car. It's that kind of cycle. But there's always the excuse, we can't have good train systems, we can't have this or that because America's too big. It's like China. I lived in China. China has high-speed rail connecting all of its major cities. They have subway system. Well, they have more people. And they will always find the excuse. Oh, well, China has a lot more people. Yeah, we're the third most populous country in the world. Yet we don't even have subway. We don't even have systems that are built for. You go to a small European city and it's got more buses and subways and trams than, New York. And New York's actually got a decent transportation system. Compared to the rest of the United States. I'm kind of ranting. Well, people want to drive their big giant, no one can get their heads out of their butts in this country. It's all, and everything's also run by, big, huge corporations. And don't get me started on, as I deal more with the American medical system in the past year, between my wife having a baby and then my wife having surgery, it's just, it's irritating how much we have just made our lives so incredible, or we've allowed our lives to become so incredibly difficult. So we keep getting hospital bills, which is something that's pretty foreign to a lot of people in Europe. But we keep getting these hospital bills, and our insurance should have covered all this stuff because we've already paid enough out of pocket and all that stuff, and you have a limit. That's the advantage of having insurance, is that at a certain point you don't have to pay more and the insurance will cover the rest of it. Then my wife's dealing with this, and she's like, oh, well, you just have to have patience. I found a YouTube video of a woman dealing with the same stuff, and what she did, she called the hospital, she called the insurance company, this and that, and eventually she got all the bills basically forgiven. Just, it's all free now. And I'm like, okay, if they can offer it for free, if they can give it to you for free after you go through the headache of spending weeks and weeks on the phone with them, why do they send me the bill in the first place? It just seems like they send you, and I know the business model. I understand completely why they do it, because most people are not going to spend weeks and weeks trying to haggle out of having to pay this ridiculous hospital bill. And so that's where they make their money. So it's worth it to them to have the banks of people, the number of people they have to deal with the people that are calling in and trying to get this resolved. They can have those people and create these stupid jobs for these people, because again, here's a hint: just don't charge the ridiculous prices. It's all a headache. I have a headache. I don't know why. One of my biggest question I ask myself every day, I think. This is the question. Why did I move back to America, to the United States? Why did I move back? I had a good thing going in China. Free time, I made a quarter of what I make living, what I make here in income in China. My wife and me working together, we made 25% of what I make alone here. But I have to work all the time to make that. And that's just and that barely covers our bills. Whereas in China, most of it went to savings. And I was making 25%. And we could travel, we could always stay every year. Knew we could have a vacation every year. Most of the time the plan was we're going to take a month vacation in the United States. We'll go on a road trip, we'll visit my parents. We'll do stuff. I mean, one year we came back in 2018. We came over here for 2-3 weeks, and it wasn't scheduled. It wasn't our planned schedule. We were probably going to go in the summer like we usually did, but we had to come because my grandma died for the funeral. So we came in March 2018 for that, and then in the summer we still had to have a vacation because our students, our parents. We had our school, and our parents, they always want to have a few weeks off during the summer so they can go on trips, which makes sense, right? Because in China they're basically year round for school, and so they want with especially our little training school thing, our after school thing, we had a few weeks off. Well, now we have a few weeks. We're not doing anything. We're not going to go back to America again, and so we went to Thailand for a couple of weeks. Can't do that here. I never have time off. And can't afford to have time off because you got to pay the hospital bills, you got to pay the electric bills, you got to pay the internet bills, you got to pay the mortgage. Everything is so insanely expensive in America compared to China. And I'm talking about the same things too. Electricity, more expensive in America. Internet, more expensive in America. And crappier in most cases. Heat, more expensive in America. Gas, natural gas, stuff like that. The only thing that's more expensive in China that I found is if you're getting foreign things. Like if I would buy cheese or bacon that was literally imported from where I live here in America and was, a foreign good in China, it'd be a little bit more expensive than what I could buy for here in America. At this point, not much more expensive, but probably in China right now it's gone up too. Gasoline for cars, petrol, that's more expensive in China, but again, everything else is so much cheaper, and we just didn't drive as much, or just, again, it fit in with everything else you were paying. So I don't know why I came back. I mean, it turned out to work out well because I'd rather be here in the United States during the whole COVID thing than over there in China, which they're still having a lot of difficulty with, but everything else, it's like time-wise, I have no free time. And, I mean, now if I was in China, I'd probably still not be streaming, or I'd be trying to figure out if I could stream. Because, again, the internet wasn't very reliable if I was trying to go overseas and deal with American internet, with Western internet. But streaming doesn't seem like it's going to be a thing I'm going to be able to do much more living in this house and where I live in the third world country called the United States of America, where I have absolute trash upload speeds. I can't get any stability here, so I'm sorry about that. What do you mean Canada? You were in Canada? Oh, you used to live in Canada. Or you used to... Are you in Canada, or you want to be in Canada? I'm not sure. Because honestly, I'd rather live in Switzerland than Canada, too. I hear a lot of people are like, oh, I'll just move to Canada. Canada's so much better. It's like, ugh, not really. Slightly in some things.
AIRFRANS 619, maintain flight level 370, contact San Juan Oceanic Center 12.65. Maintain flight level 370, contact San Juan Oceanic Center 12.65. AIRFRANS 619. San Juan Oceanic Center, AIRFRANS 619, inbound, Golf Echo, Sierra Oscar, at flight level 370. AIRFRANS 619, radar contact, maintain, flight level 370. Main 0, AIRFRANS 619.
Alright, I don't know what is going on with my internet. I can barely get any upload here. If this is bound, it might be working a little bit better here. Let's see. I'm trying to use this. It's like called this Gigabyte Dragon thing, which kind of monitors your internet. You can kind of prioritize network usage. I'm trying to see if that's gonna, you know, do something. You can actually even block, certain programs from using internet. I don't really want to do that.
6-3, radar contact. Expect Papa Juliet Mike Charlie Hotel Alpha Kilo Alpha 4, arrival. Victor Alpha Romeo November Alpha ILS, approach, runway 08. Report
So
when
let me,
ready for descent.
because it popped me off of the data stream in there.
Expect Papa Juliet Juliet Mike Charlie Hotel Alpha
There we
Kilo
go.
Alpha 4 Arrival Victor Alpha Romeo November Alpha ILS Approach Runway 08 Report.
Yeah, I shouldn't have so
Ready
much
for
issue. I
descent.
shouldn't have an
Entry.
issue with the download because I have usually when I do speed tests or anything like that, I get 800 megabytes per second download speed when you really stress it,
Windward
which isn't the whole
809,
gig, but
radar
you never
contact.
really get the
Maintain
100%.
Flight level 240.
But
Maintain.
the
Flight
upload
level
speed, that's the
240,
problem. The upload, I
609.
basically only have like 30 megabytes upload at max, which is terrible. 'Cause usually your upload speed is about typically like 20 or 30% of your download speed. I don't even have that. Oh, looks like we've stabilized. So if you've been dropped and you're jumping back in, hopefully things are going to start working a little bit better here. Maybe that. I mean, so far, fingers crossed, we haven't spent too much time flying yet here, but I turned on this Gigabyte program. This that came with my motherboard, or it's the program that runs with the motherboard. Motherboard or a Gigabyte Dragon. If I can make a little. I shouldn't do this while I'm actually flying.
Caribbean Airlines 484, radar contact.
Oh, I know what I can
Maintain
do.
Flight level 360. Maintain flight level 360. Caribbean Airlines 484.
There. This is this program. It's called Gigabyte Dragon, and you can actually set priorities for the internet, and you can actually even have auto like settings like, oh, I'm gaming right now. I want to prioritize gaming stuff. I want all my games to be prioritized, or I want my streaming stuff prioritized. So it's kind of weird here because I'm using a NordVPN. And I'm guessing because I'm using NordVPN, that's where all the internet's actually being used. I'm not getting anything going. Like OBS is not being recorded as doing anything. But basically, you can set your programs into a certain group. That way, when you click on this, say, "Oh, I want my game prioritized," or "I want my browser prioritized," or "I want work stuff prioritized." You know, like here. So here, priority 1. Well, we want our streaming stuff, going up. We want that prioritized because that's the issue we've been having is our streaming. Browsers don't need to be as much priority right now in this. And I think what I can do, in this setting, I can even choose where I want my. Hey, I want my games or my internet browser when I'm on the streaming. I want it prioritized at a 5 or whatever. So I'm kind of going through this and setting up, here again, OBS browser page. Probably want to have that be part of the stream. So it's going to prioritize all the streaming ones. And then it has the game ones, it looks like. That's kind of cool. And so far, looks like we've been pretty stable. Looks like so far, right? I wanted to capture, show you OBS. Because I have this little, I still can, I just need to. But I have this, like the stats on OBS, it shows me my, the frames that are going up, and then what drop frames. And so, I just reset it. As soon as I had that Dragon thing going, it looked like it was stabilizing. I reset the settings, and we've uploaded 21,000 frames. We've rendered 21,000 frames. We've uploaded 21,000 frames. We haven't skipped anything due to rendering or encoding. And we haven't dropped anything going up. So, actually pretty stable. So, I figured this program would be useful, but I hadn't really used it before, and looks like it's actually working. And we got, I'm running the VPN right now. But that's cool. Okay, that's going to stabilize things. That will make me happy. I would be very, very happy. And what island are we passing by now? We are just still getting a little bit of a tip of Espanol. Oh no, wait, never mind. I'm looking at the wrong plane on Volanta. That's Puerto Rico. So we'll be flying into I don't know if I actually have a flight schedule. Oh yeah, I think I do. I think I have a flight schedule for Puerto Rico, even though Puerto Rico is technically part of the United States. We will be flying to U.S. territories, just like we've been flying to French territories and overseas collectives and all these things. Puerto Rico will be no different. Now, of course, if Puerto Rico were to become a state within the United States, we probably wouldn't fly to it specifically. We still could, I mean, but with this world tour, I'm not flying to every state in the United States, so despite the fact that I am flying to a number of places that are actually just part of France. And so I'm going to give away, I don't know how many of you guys are here, but I'm going to give away an answer, give away some information that might come up later when I ask some trivia questions. And I might not even ask these trivia questions, but I'll let you know the answers. But we're right now currently flying to Guadeloupe. Now, Guadeloupe is actually... Just popped up there. Okay. Guadeloupe... Yeah, look at this. Now I got a nice stable network. Knock on wood. Twitch is nice and stable. How about that? All right, Guadeloupe. Let's see what we can find out about Guadeloupe. Now, if you look up Guadeloupe, now the flag I have up there, that's the local. That's like their local flag. It's not official. I think it could be official. I mean, it could just be like a state flag in reality, right? A provincial flag. Because Guadeloupe, look it up right now. Go on Google, go on Wikipedia. If you look it up and you see the flag of Guadeloupe, it's just the French flag. Because Guadeloupe is... Let me just double check before I really go too far saying it. Why? Ugh. Why when I'm not... Can't believe getting... Okay, there we go. Can't believe we're getting rendering lag and all that other stuff. Insane. This is insane how much Microsoft Flight Simulator uses your CPU, especially when you get a better... when the CPU is now the bottleneck. I had so much overhead with the old graphics card. There's almost a part of me that thinks, you know what? Why don't I just go back to the old graphics card? Just put it back in. Sell the AMD card. And just... Even though I have had a little bit better performance, there are places where I notice performance. I am running on ultra settings versus high settings with the old card. But it does seem like I've been... I think it's because I made a purchase. When I make a big purchase, whenever I make a big computer purchase, or at a big purchase, anything, I'm constantly picking at it, looking at it like, oh, is this the right... Did I make the right decision? Did I make the right decision? Is this worth it? Is it worth it? And if it doesn't... If there's any hiccups, it doesn't seem worth it to me, usually. Alright, so let's look at Guadeloupe. Yeah. Again, I'm still having that issue. Yep, see? So, right now I'm not... That's insane. That just... Man. Well, that's just another reason why I want to get this other computer over here put back together so we can at least offload OBS and have it running on there.
Air 421 Bravo, radar contact, main 10,000, altimeter 3011.
Maintain 10,000, 421 Bravo.
Okay, so Guadeloupe is an overseas department and region of France. So let's see. Got 4 islands. We're flying to Grande-Terre, which has Port-au-Prince on it. Not Port-au-Prince, Pointe-à-Pitre. Let's see. What do I want to find here? So like the other overseas departments, it is an integral part of France. It's actually a constituent territory. It's a constituent territory of the European Union and of the Eurozone. The euro is its official currency, and any European Union citizen is free to settle and work there indefinitely. However, as an overseas department, it's not part of the Shenzhen area.
Flight level 320. Maintain flight level 320. JetBlue 149.
Oh, that's not for us. So Guadeloupe is, in essence, to put it in United States terms, it's a state within France. It's a province of France. It is part of France. It is fully represented in their government. It is part of France. If you look at the country, I'm on Wikipedia right now. Country is France. Guadeloupe is part of France. It's not, and it's part of France in a way not like Puerto Rico is part of the United States. Puerto Rico is a territory of the United States, but is not like part of the United States as one of the 50 states. Guadeloupe is actually part of France proper. So you have metropolitan France, which is the mainland, the European part of France, the historical France, and then you have these overseas territories or these overseas departments. And Guadeloupe is one of them. It's actually fully a part of France. We're actually technically right now flying to France. We're not actually flying to a new country today, but we're flying to a new region, and it's kind of a special thing because, again, most people, when they think of France, they think of the part that we've already flown to in Paris and Nice and all those places, right? Whereas this one is technically France. We're flying to France. And not just a territory of France, but France. Actually France. And I said all that. I'm just going to double check on that. But yes. Overseas departments and regions of France are departments of France that are outside metropolitan France, the European part of France. They have exactly the same status as mainland France's regions and departments. So the French Constitution provides that, in general, French laws and regulations apply to French overseas regions the same as in metropolitan France, but can be adapted as needed to suit the region's particular needs. Hence, the local administrations of French overseas regions cannot themselves pass new laws. So, in a way that sounds like, again, they're just an overseas territory and they're controlled by the parliament in Paris. But it isn't. What it is that it's treated just like any other department within France, even within Europe. Like the different regions within France, in European France, they can't just make their own laws that contradict French national law. And that's the same thing with these regions. Now, but the big thing is, the big difference here is that they have representation in Parliament. They have voting representation, equal representation. So each overseas department is the sole department in its own overseas region, with powers identical to the regions of metropolitan France. Because of the one-to-one correspondence, informal usage does not distinguish the two, and the French media uses the term Département des Hautes-Mers almost exclusively, which is the overseas region. But the departments and the regions, they're basically the same thing when it comes to these areas because there's only one in the region for each one. So there are 5 overseas departments / regions of France. That's French Guiana, Guadeloupe, Martinique, Mayotte, and Réunion. We've been to Mayotte and Réunion already in the Indian Ocean off of the coast of East Africa. We're headed to Guadeloupe right now. We're going to be going to Martinique from Guadeloupe next, and then we're going to be flying down to French Guiana. So our next 4 flights here on Air France, we're flying in France technically. They're domestic French flights. I think they would be called domestic French flights because we're just in France. We're not actually flying. Right now we're flying from Haiti, which is no longer part of France, hasn't been for 200 years. At one point was. But we're flying from Haiti to Guadeloupe. So we're actually going from Haiti to France right now. Guadeloupe being part of France we're flying to. Oh, it's just crazy how, like, when I scroll on an internet browser, it kills the rendering. So it's amazing how my CPU overhead is. I don't have much overhead on the CPU anymore with the new graphics card. Let's see, let's look at the history. So I find this very interesting. I'm gonna I want to make a, why am I having issues with the rendering now? What are we doing? Amazing. It's amazing how bungled up my computer is now since upgrading this graphics card. That's crazy. Alright, I want to do a video about this for my channel. I want to get into doing some geography videos and some short and long-term video, longer form videos. Probably going to be more short. I don't have time to make too long, but it'd be cool to make a video about this because I always find it interesting. So this is a history. France's earliest short-lived attempt at setting up overseas departments was after Napoleon's conquest of the Republic of Venice in 1797, when the Venetian Ionian Islands fell to the French Directory and were organized as the department of Mer Agi, Ithaki, and Corsi. I'm butchering those because my French isn't that great. In 1798, the Russian admiral Fyodor Ushakov evicted the French from these islands, and though France regained them via the Treaty of Tilsit in 1807, the 3 departments were not revived. Well, France has always been a little, it seems pretty progressive when it comes to when it takes other territory, it actually just integrates them into France. Versus a lot of, now I don't know how they did it once they started, colonizing Africa, or how quickly it happened in other places. And it actually might have been, maybe not that progressive. I guess it probably progressive in that sense there because it was Venice. It was still European. Under the 1947 Constitution of the Fourth Republic, the French colonies of Algeria in North Africa, Guadeloupe and Martinique in the Caribbean, French Guiana in South America, and Réunion in the Indian Ocean were defined as overseas departments. Algeria became independent in 1962, while the others are still French departments. But again, the big thing, at least since 1947, is that those departments are co-equal with mainland European French departments. So if you live in Normandy or Brittany or wherever in metropolitan European France, you're on equal footing with someone who lives in Guadeloupe. In terms of laws, in terms of representation in the French Parliament in the French Republic. So it's very interesting there, where it's very different from how the United States is. So the United States has overseas territories or territories, right? So they have the 50 states. You have the District of Columbia, which is the capital district, which actually has a little bit less representation than the states, and actually almost no representation, to be realistic. So there's 700,000 people that live there that are basically taxed but don't get to make their own laws in a lot of cases. So we have 50 states, and then we have territories like Puerto Rico.
24, heavy, radar contact, climb and maintain, flight level
Puerto Rico, Guam, the Virgin Islands, the Mariana Islands. I think we have some American Samoa, right? And there's various depending on the territory too, there's different things. Like Puerto Ricans are all American citizens, but if you live in American Samoa, you're not an American citizen. You have to actually immigrate to America and get your citizenship and stuff. So it's very, very strange that way. But none of those territories have equal representation in the United States Congress, in the United States government. Puerto Rico sends a representative. I think American Samoa might have a representative, but they're non-voting. They just get to be there. I don't even know if they're allowed to speak. They might be. Maybe the Puerto Rican ones are able to stand up and talk, but I don't think they're not allowed to vote. I think Puerto Rico might be able to vote in presidential elections because they are American citizens, so they might be, but I think it's very weird. But with the French overseas departments, now I think there are some places that aren't like this, but with the overseas departments, the 5 overseas departments, Guadeloupe, Martinique, Mayotte, Réunion, and French Guiana, they are part of the French government, fully equal with the regions in France, in mainland France. All right, Guadeloupe and Réunion, no, I was looking at the history, I'm right there. So since 1982, following the French government's policy of decentralization, overseas departments have elected regional councils with powers similar to those of the regions of metropolitan France. Basically, the regions in France, they have, a local government or a local council, and these places overseas also have local councils, and then there's the central government that makes most of the laws. As a result of a constitutional revision that occurred in 2003, these regions are now to be called overseas regions. Indeed, the new wording of the Constitution gives no precedence to the terms overseas department or overseas region, though the latter is still virtually unused by the French media. The overseas collectivity of Saint Pierre and Miquelon which is up in Canada, and we actually do need to fly there. I maybe once we get up to New York or something, or maybe we'll just have a special flight where we fly from Montreal or something close and just do a short hop and kind of fly into the area. So Saint Pierre and Miquelon was an overseas department from 1976 to 1985. All 5 of France's overseas departments. So now I don't know what it is now. It's just a collectivity. Let's look into what that is. I guess we'll have to do that. But it was a department until 1985. All 5 of France's overseas departments have between 200,000 and 1 million people each. Whereas Saint Pierre and Miquelon has only about 6,000, and the smaller collectivity unit therefore seemed more appropriate for the island. Okay, yeah, and then in 2009, Mayotte, 95% of voters, they voted to become an overseas department. So Mayotte was an overseas department. I don't know what they were before, but now they are, so they're that 5th one. They're the newest one. So bad, the performance when I click on Chrome, really weird. Alright, so we have French overseas collectivities, are first order administrative divisions of France, like the French regions, but they have semi-autonomous status. So your 5 overseas departments and metropolitan France, they are controlled by the central government. They're France. They're just France. These overseas collectivities are still part of France, but they have some autonomy. So these include French Polynesia, which we'll be flying to, St. Bartholomew, St. Martin, St. Pierre and Miquelon, and Wallis and Futuna. Now, we haven't been to any of those yet on this world tour here in Flight Simulator, so the First ones we're going to be getting to are St. Martin and St. Barth's. And then we'll be flying over to, out of Hawaii, we'll be going to French Polynesia. We'll have to double back somewhere and get up to Canada, St. Pierre and Miquelon. And Wallace and Futuna is also out in the ocean there, Pacific. Let's see.
In region 824, heavy, climb and maintain. Flight level 320.
We're getting the Amerijet calls here. But it's cool, we get to hear the other planes
Climb and
finally.
maintain. Flight level 320, Amerijet 824, heavy.
Alright, so comms, which are Collectivité des Outre-mer, with the overseas collectivities, they are different from overseas regions and departments. You know, overseas regions and overseas departments have the same status as metropolitan France, but are just located outside of Europe. So it's just parts of France. You know, still France, still equal with the European France, but they're just not in Europe. So they're actually technically part of the European Union, but they're not part of the Schengen zone because physically they're not in the Schengen zone, but they are part of the European Union because they're France. Oh, we actually, wow, 21 minutes to go. I've been talking and just blabbing. I'm pretty stable finally with the network. San Juan, let's see, overview our instructions here. We have got a Gore 1 Alpha arrival, approach, RNAV, approach. Okay. I do ILS though. I just like having the ILS. Let's do ILS. Guess we'll do the RNAV. Alright, we'll stick with what they got for us. We're doing RNAV Yankee. Parking gate 7, that should be fine.
AirFrans 619er, expect Core 1 Alpha, arrival, RNAV, Yankee, approach, runway 12, report when ready for descent. Expect Core 1 Alpha, arrival, RNAV, Yankee, approach, runway 12, report when ready for descent, AirFrans 619er.
Alright, so we're going to be expecting a Gore 1 Alpha arrival, RNAV, Yankee approach for runway 12, report when ready for descent, Air France 619.
Air France 619er, ready for descent. Air France 619er, maintain, flight level 370.
Alright, so let's put that into the flight computer.
Maintain, flight level 370, Air France 619er.
We'll get our metadata weather for Guadeloupe. Back to the flight plan. You see that discontinuity. It's a Gorette. So arrival, runway 12. We're going to do the RNAV. RNAV Yankee. And we're coming in on Gore. It's like Gore 1 Alpha. We're just going to go Novia. Insert. We are at the top of descent, so hopefully they give us. Okay, I don't like this. Okay, we don't need Modux. Oh wait, fine. Clear out the discontinuity. We're at top of descent. The little green dot, or that green dot right there. So Flybywire's added this in now, which shows us our descent. Can we get a descent? Is the question. There we go.
Descend and maintain. Flight level 280. Descend and maintain. Flight level 280.
Seatbelt signs on.
Air France 619.
Please return to your seat as the seatbelt sign is now on.
I'm going to put the speed brakes out, that way you can get our descent going. Keep up with our little green dot.
assist with customs at our destination, flight attendants
But we do,
will begin
you
heading
heard
out
they
for
just announced we got to go through customs because we are actually flying into another country. We're going Haiti to France. But when we fly from Guadeloupe to Martinique, I don't believe we're going to need to do customs. I'm not sure, maybe, but I doubt it because, again, they're both part of France. Alright, we got to enter our destination data, so ATSU can actually look right here. Company message is available. AOC, received messages. MEDAR. Print that out. Go back to the performance page. Go to our approach. And this was just, I remember when this came out with the A320nX, people were freaking out. Alright, so we got the printout. Q&H 1019.
Caribbean Airlines 416. Radar contact. Continue descent. Flight level 150.
Temperature 28. We have broken clouds at 5,800 feet. Scattered clouds at 4,700 feet. Few clouds at 3,200 feet. So we're going to be going through some clouds, at least according to the MEDAR data. I don't know if we're actually going to get that. Winds 60 degrees at 11 knots. Transition altitude is saying 10,000. We'll just keep with that. Barometer, that's our minimum for the RNAV, which we'll check in just a moment. Alright, descending at 28,000. Yeah, why am I not getting your... Akish football, sorry. Yeah, Jackie, sorry. I just, for some reason my, live chat isn't working. There we go. Try that again. Oh. But now I'm getting the issue that when I go off, when I'm not, focused on Flight Simulator, it slows down. Oh, yay to that. Ugh. Thought we got away from that issue. Can't have anything nice. But why is my chat not working anymore? The OBS decided to crap out on that. Thank you very much.
AirFrans 619. Descend and maintain. Flight level 260. Descend and maintain. Flight level 260. AirFrans 619. Caribbean Airlines 416. Descend and maintain. Flight level 60. Contact approach 118.
That irritates me because I was wondering where you guys all went, and it's just because my chat is not being picked up by Ninja Chat now and jumping onto the getting shown on the stream for some reason. No idea why. I suppose that's what happens when you reset the internet 50 times in a stream. Eventually it just doesn't work anymore.
AirFrans 619. Descend and maintain. Flight level 170. Contact the ARCO Center 123.7.
AirFrans 619 descend or
Descend and maintain.
I just say descend and maintain, then I put AirFrans at the end. That's how you say it.
Center 123.7. AirFrans 619. Piarco Center, AirFrans 619. Inbound, direct at flight level 260. Descending, flight level 170.
AirFrans 619. Radar contact. Continue
All right, let's check out the chart for the final. Let's go right from the top. Final approach course is going to be 116 degrees. We're going to be capturing the glide slope, or that's where we're going to start our descent, 1,800 feet. Airport elevation, 35 feet. Runway is at 5 feet, so right there. We're going to be pretty low near the sea. If we miss our approach, we're going to climb straight ahead to Foxtrot Romeo 510. We can see that right there at the bottom. Then we're going to turn left direct to Foxtrot Romeo 512, then to Desto and climb into 3600. We'll come back to Avset into a hold and basically just reset, do the same thing again. Actually, that VIA could have been Avset. Reality. Change that. We actually have a VIA. Flight plan. Oh, there's Avset. So there it is. It's just not on my chart. Alright, I didn't add it correctly. That's alright. I'm never sure what this means. 25 nautical miles, IAF. I'm not sure. Let's see. Baro VNAV not authorized below 0 degrees Celsius. Well, we're going to be above that. Problem there. So you can see India Romeo 12 Yankee, max 185 knots, 1,800 feet right there. We're going to maintain that mandatory 1,800 feet until we get to Foxtrot Romeo 12 Yankee. I guess these are the can't go below 1,700. We could even put this in, this 385, that's the ADF. We could put that in there as a backup. And it's actually the only point, there is no VOR that I can see. What island we got coming up here? Alright, that's Montserrat. We're going to be headed there at some point. And then coming up in front over here, we're going to see the butterfly island of, islands of Guadeloupe. Looks kind of like a butterfly. We're going to be flying right in the middle of it. There you go. There's Montserrat right there. Back there, St. Kitts and Nevis. Could have actually been kind of paying attention out the window, I think. We flew past a lot of islands on this chain. Antigua and Barbuda is going to be just back there. Okay, we're at 17,000 feet. Can we continue descent, please? Alright, and again, I never can remember my, which kind of plane we are. I think C. I think we're a C. 285 is going to be our minimum, so we'll put that in on the performance. Barrow 285. Alright, so here's our missed approach again. When we get to Desto, max speed of 240, max altitude of 3,600.
Descend and maintain flight level 120, AirFrans 619.
Drone camera likes to tilt all over the place. So you see, most of the time, performance is pretty nice, but it's whenever I do anything else, I click out a different screen, performance degrades. There'll be just moments where it decides to start hiccuping, and again, I'm probably just on a way higher alert for it than before. Travis, hey, wants to become a pilot for American Airlines. Have you? How old are you? I don't know if you've been in here before. You sound familiar, Travis. Yeah, but you have to... For some reason my chats are not showing up properly. But yeah, if you want to become a pilot, obviously the younger you are, the better. Gives you more time to reap in that investment, because it's a big investment. I think it's called ATP. Get lots of ads for it on my Facebook. I always get ads for it. Looks really cool, and they got a lot of connections with the major airlines. Basically they promise, I don't know how much of this is true, but you can go from, you know, no experience, no training, to flying for a major airline in 7 months or 9 months or something. Now, I don't think you get to the major airline in 9 months, but you're in their system, because you're then in 9 months. I think in 9 months you're actually flying for one of the regionals. You're flying for Sky West. You're flying for Air Wisconsin, whatever it is, depending on which major airline you want to go to. And now once you're in there, you're building up your hours, and then once you get to a certain hours, they're going to you get priority to get promoted to the major airline and fly the bigger planes. And so, pretty cool. But I believe it's like $80,000. But again, it's a quick program. I mean, 9 months to get to flying, you know, regionals. I mean, not too bad. Doesn't sound too bad, at least. 80,000. And 80,000 sounds like a lot, but I mean, you're spending 80,000 to go to a 4-year university at least now. At least. So if you want to be a pilot, there you go. Alright, we're cleared for the approach. We got to get our star here. 401 Alpha.
Continue descent 3,600 QNH 1020. Continue descent 3,600 AirFrans 619.
Alright, so I have the speed brakes set. It's just going to make it easier for us to descend. And you can see Guadeloupe coming in right there. We're aiming right for, or we're going to be landing, kind of pointed at the, I think a little bit more of it's over there. But we're going to be kind of this little area that is in between the two kind of wings of the butterfly. So we're going to be landing right at the body of the butterfly. Not that there's much of it, but flying for those wings. I'll be right in between the two wings.
We have begun our final descent into your destination. Flight attendants will be passing through the cabin to collect any trash.
I'm kind of frustrated right now because for some reason my chats are not going to my little consolidation thing, Ninja Chat, or showing up on the bottom of the screen here. I'm not sure why it's doing that. Alright, so we are under 10,000. Let's get those landing lights on, light ourselves up so everyone can see us. Most dangerous part of a flight is airports as we're landing or taking off, because there's much more traffic. I don't know how much traffic there's going to be here, but probably not as much as Chicago or an LAX or something, but traffic nonetheless. Oh, didn't want to do that. Whoops. Greenbird.
Maintain flight level 220. Contact Piarco Center 123.7. Greenbird 103 Charlie.
Alright, radio nav page, I'm going to put in that V80F. Put that on there. Now the RNAV doesn't have, the RNAV chart didn't have all this, but I'm pulled up another chart. I just want to get all this stuff in just as backup. Even the ILS, put that on, just in case, makes it a little easier. And then we can turn on the VOR, we can turn on the ADF. They're basically going to point to the same thing. Go flaps 1. We're at 3,600 feet, mandatory at AVSET, perfect. India Romeo 12 Yankee, we need to be at 1,800 feet, and man, look at that. Nice approach. You can see the waves moving down there. A little bit of wind.
AirFrans 619, proceed direct India Romeo 12 Yankee, maintain 3,600.
I need to be at 1,800,
Proceed
please.
direct India Romeo 12 Yankee, maintain 3,600. AirFrans 619.
Man, I'm really looking forward to flying into all these different islands now.
AirFrans 619.
Because we're
Descend and maintain
moving forward here, it's going to be quite a few islands, and we get to see these cool,
Descend and
just
maintain
beautiful scenery.
2,300.
At
AirFrans
2,300? And that just clears to 1,800. How hard is that? How hard is it to just clear us all the way down? So there's one wing, there's the other wing, there's the middle. We're kind of coming in.
1,800. Descend and maintain 1,800. AirFrans 619. AirFrans 619 cleared RNAV Yankee approach at 1,800. Runway 12. Report
Why are we not
established final
descending?
track.
Why are we losing all the speed but
Cleared
not
RNAV
descending?
Yankee approach at 1,800. Runway 12. Report established final track. AirFrans 619.
Alright, so our approach speed is going to be 131. Turning to final. Landing gear. Full flaps. Get medium auto brake. Yep, 10,266 feet for runway, so plenty of runway. Do cabin check. Hope our frames don't go to crap. Like I said, I feel like I'm sometimes flying with on the old graphics card. Might as well just go back to the old wave. All right, 1800.
AirFrance 619 established on final track. AirFrance 619 contact Raizet A tower 118.4. Contact Raizet tower 118.4. AirFrance 619.
I was gonna say, why is it going on approach? But that's because I put the ILS in there. It will
Raizet
actually
tower
capture it.
AirFrance 619 on final 12. AirFrance 619 continue approach. Continue approach. AirFrance 619. AirFrance 619, wind 80 degrees at 9 knots, cleared to land 12. Cleared to land 12, AirFrance 619.
Hey Sasha, welcome back. Just in time for landing.
Above, 300. Minimum, 200. $100. 40. 10. 5.
AirFrance 619, report vacated. Report vacated, AirFrance 619.
Yeah, still working on those landings. And man, the frame rate does really dive. Not as good as it used to be. Alright, where do we exit here? We're gonna exit at a Foxtrot. Yep, bit hard. Actually, terminal am I going to? Oh, we'll go to the left here. This is a really nice freeware. Beautiful.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have reached our destination. The local time is 10:37 a.m. and it's currently about 27 degrees Celsius. You can now use your mobile devices. Please remain seated until the aircraft has come to a complete stop and the seatbelt sign is
Raizet
off.
Tower,
Remember to
AirFrance
use caution
619, runway vacated with Foxtrot.
during the flight. We thank you for
AirFrance
flying with us.
619, taxi to gate 7 via Foxtrot. Taxi to gate 7 via Foxtrot, AirFrance 619.
Clear some of this stuff over here. ECAS off. Radar. Right to wind shear. Alright, let's see if I can get PSX set up. Corsair. Uh-huh. 0 suitable locations. Oh, I guess there's actually markings, so we'll be able to find 7 ourselves. Yeah, so the performance boost I was hoping for with the graphics card hasn't really shown up.
This parking is isolated. Ground services are not available.
Alright, perfect. We're at the gate, but for some reason this airport doesn't have these parking spots actually mapped out. We can't use GSX Pro with it, which is super frustrating.
This parking is isolated.
Yep.
Ground services are not available.
What we're gonna do is we're gonna do that, and then we'll try to use GSX, and it'll ask us to go to a spot. Should, at least. We'll try. 0 suitable parkings. I love that.
The requested position is already assigned to another aircraft. The chosen position is too small for your
Park me
aircraft.
there. Okay, this isn't a gate. Heck are we? And let me go somewhere. There's 0 suitable parkings. Alright, well I guess we'll just go back where we were. What we should do. We're nice and parked. Now we're not parked as nice, but whatever. Turn off the lights. Do we have the... No, we don't have external. Whatever. Alright, passengers are deboarding via Pack X. I can't do anything with GSX because GSX doesn't want to work at this airport, which kind of sucks. I need to figure that out. That's disappointing because this is a really nice looking airport, but none of the gates or anything work for GSX. So, bummer because you would have been able to see them get off. That sucks, because this is a really nice looking airport, yeah? Nice freeware. Well, not much we can do about that. Go check out Volanta and check out the flight. And for some reason it jumped off of the flight we just did. There it is. Alright, so landing rate a little firm. Port-au-Prince, saw we go over those legs, Dominican Republic, Puerto Rico. Didn't really pay attention as we passed the Virgin Islands. But kind of saw St. Kitts and Nevis, Montserrat, into Guadeloupe, and a landing rate of -269 feet per minute at 104 knots. We're a little bit slow. Wind 70 degrees at 19 knots, a little bit of wind. Close that up and we'll bring up the World Tour map. Just a moment. I don't know where to put this on my screen. There it is. So everywhere we've been so far on the World Tour, we'll zoom in all the way to the Caribbean. There you can see the butterfly. Reveal Guadeloupe. The next flight we're going to be headed down to, I believe it's going to be right here. Oh, Martinique. Yeah, Martinique. So we're going to fly over Dominica and into Martinique for the next flight. And that will be either tomorrow morning for sure. I don't know if it'll be that flight. Might be able to do a stream this afternoon. We'll see what I got planned. Yeah, I'm a little upset that I can't use this airport with GSX Pro because really nice looking airport, right? Even got that huge long jetway to get to this parking spot. There's just no parking spots seem to work with GSX Pro at this airport, unfortunately. All right, well, thanks a lot for coming along on the flight. We'll see you guys tomorrow at the same time, 7:30 a.m. Central Standard Time for me. Keep an eye out. Might go live this afternoon with a flight, or possibly maybe just do some other game. See how the streaming works with another game. and the performance, because Flight Simulator is the one that just beats any computer. You need to have a supercomputer to do this game and have it, you know, fly well or run well. So I will see you either this afternoon, but for sure tomorrow morning, the usual time. Hope to see you all there. And until next time, take care. Happy flying if you're doing that, and see you then.